Dear friends, I could continue the subject of religion. It's too big a subject to just dedicate to it several minutes. And to be clear, I will be exclusively talking about the religions which emerged during the period of stratification. The earlier one simply it would be a matter of speculation because there is no written records of those. While existing main religion, there is lots of writing which happen throughout their period of existence. And in spite of their big differences, all of them are the existing one, with the sole exception of Hinduism, are monotheistic because they came from Judaism, which is monotheistic. Mono means there is supreme God. There were religions which were polytheistic, like Greeks, ancient Greeks, to some extent Hinduism, but it is very complicated to say what kind of religion. And we could say, if we will consider modern Buddhism as a religion, also there are various deities, etc. But I'm focusing on the main ones, which will be the Christianism, the Islam, Christianism and Islam. They are the most significant, and to Hinduism because of their he is revived for political purposes right now. It wasn't. It's difficult to say. It morphed so much throughout its existence. What is interesting about this monotheistic religion? They obviously central belief that there is God the Creator who created the universe, and he rules on it, and have always various helpers, etc. But that is, I'm not going to describe, I will just put certain aspects which are in common. Important thing is that since people are very, as a rule, afraid of their death, the religion are quite explore this fear and use the death as the moment of judgment. In some sense, does a person adhere to given religion or not? If the person adhere, is rewarded. If the person didn't, is punished. Very terribly punished by, the worst case, some hell, etc. Now, adhering to religion is not enough to believe in God. That goes without saying. If you don't believe in God, you are obviously a very bad boy or a bad girl, and you will be unquestionably punished. But within this, religions usually, or as a rule, contain numerous moral principles which were constructed for social reasons. And they were definitely one thing they have in common. They protect the patriarchy, and they protect the uh, ownership and hierarchy. That's now you could see how clearly, not that they were designed that way, they simply happened that way. The God, as we know, is a masculine principle. Christianism, which, as I said before, softened this terrible Judaistic patria, which is inherited by Muslimism, by Islam, by adding, Virgin Mary and various female saints, which makes it more palatable and not as rough. Judaism and Islam make no compromises in this sense. They are definitely patriarchal, and there is no any feminine aspect in it. It is the feminine aspect, probably, it's my pure speculation, is due to the fact that creator of Christianity, Jesus Christ, seemed to be a very decent person, and that's why he wasn't liked by the rabbinic establishment, and probably they managed to maneuver Romans to kill him, because Romans particularly didn't have any problem with him. That was internal Jewish problem. And the Virgin Mary, which is from the beginning, he was born as the Son of God from a woman, that make him already much softer than Jehovah or Allah or things like that, or personage, or I don't know, ideas as that. That's probably softened slightly, and particularly got softened within the Protestant religion, where women could be even pastors lately. That was again a rebel against this complete patriarchal aspect, but that is not the point I wanted to make. The point I wanted to make that this religion, beyond the patriarchy, defended the property and certain social order, which is completely necessary to keep the whole machine going. Like in commandment, we have not to steal, not to steal anybody's wife, not to murder, etc., etc. They are embedded the moral principles, which were, we can put them down, they allowed the society to function, since society was based on property. Of course, stealing will destroy the whole system. Stealing was extremely very severely penalized during the life, and of course after death was a big sin. So, saying all of that, I don't want to completely leave the religion as some sort of conspiracy theory which happened to protect the stratification. Within the religions, there were the what let's call spiritual aspect, where people who didn't have uh, things which they couldn't explain experientially via some uh, existing science, they were seeing as something which is called miraculous or magical. And this aspect is very interesting, and this aspect, which I mention about Buddhism, shouldn't be, simply rejected as some superstition. It is simply a fact that certain miracles, certain humans acquire access to energies which are accessible, but we don't know how to do it. They didn't particularly know how to do it. It just happened that they were able to do miracles, and I'm not putting it down, by no means that it's all lie, etc., etc. It simply points out that religions try to, within the social aspect, also try to explain what was going on in the world around us and in us, like most of them, for example, say that we possess immortal soul, and the soul, it's after the death, could be punished or rewarded or whatnot, or another that it will be reborn in some form, human or animal or etc. That's particularly was Hinduism and what Buddhism inherited it from it. I'm not going into details. Though they again were, unfortunately, again related, or fortunately, it depends on the point of view. They were dependent on behavior to certain social norm, which were norm according to the stratification, as well as the norm, more metaphysical norm imposed by priests of given religion, which they did it generally for their own advantage. Sorry that I don't have anything too good to say, because I don't see, in spite of seeing extremely many decent and nice and good people who adhere to certain religions, fortunately, they not take seriously all these horrors hidden, and simply use it as some moral or some emotional principle for a good cause. I don't want to put them down, by no means, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. Okay, so I think I said enough about religions, and the next talk will be most likely will be which is a very strongly related about ideologies. Okay, so it's all for today, and have a good day and see you next time. Goodbye.